everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. November is pretty much over and that is scary because now it's winter. So to finish off this autumn, I'm going to do one more sort of autumnal themed look before then we start to look at all the Christmas and New Year's looks because they're quite different. But yeah, I do love an autumnal look, something warm, something bronzy. It's so gorgeous. I'm going to try this trick because I've never done this before and my skin's feeling very dry. I'm going to take the Colourpop Pretty Fresh setting spray but use that sort of as a primer and it might make my foundation look even better. I keep seeing it on TikTok, so I'm not going to let that sink in too much because I kind of want to mix the foundation with it. So I'm going to be taking NARS Sheer Glow. Been loving this foundation at the moment. I've always loved it, but recently I've sort of rediscovered it. I just keep wanting to use it. And I'm just going to tip that onto an Expert face brush from Real Techniques and just sort of smear it all over my face. This foundation is slightly the wrong undertone, and I have since picked up in the Black Friday sales a better one because this is it's a bit too pink for me. It's not actually coming across on camera that this is too pink for me, but in my mirror it looks a bit silly. But it's an expensive foundation, so I'm going to use it. And now I've sort of smeared it on my face, I'm going to go in with a Real Techniques sponge and just blend out just to get rid of any brush marks. This is a new Real Techniques sponge and I sort of forgot how firm they are when you first get one. This is really firm. My sort of old one is really squidgy compared to this, but they do an amazing job of just getting rid of the brush marks and making real foundation go on really evenly. I guess it being a bit firm, it might absorb less product. I don't know. This foundation is just so smooth and just healthy looking. I'm not sure how much the setting spray beforehand did. Could help with some longevity, I guess. But this foundation is always slightly glowy, so it's hard to tell whether it actually made a difference or not. As we're on a bit of a NARS hype, I'm going to take my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer just on my ZOEVA concealer buffer brush. Put that where I have some acne at the moment. I have some really big blind bump acne at the moment that you can't even really see. They don't change the colour of my skin a lot. They're so painful. Like my face feels like it's literally bruised. And as I like to brighten up my under eyes just that little bit more, I'm going to take my Colourpop Pretty Fresh Creamy Concealer as well. It's just in that bit more of a lighter shade on top. And once again, I'm just going to blend that all in with my Real Techniques sponge. Just before anything can start to crease, I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, just on a Real Techniques setting brush. It's so almost gone. It's so empty. I will powder a bit more later, but I'm going to use some cream products, so I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to take my Refy Cream Bronzer in Sand on my Sigma F50 brush. This is a very creamy bronzer. It's kind of sitting a bit weird. It's quite dark for me at the moment. I feel like this has gone a bit weirder than it usually does. So I'm just gonna go over with my sponge. That's helped a lot, okay. It just looked a bit patchy, that was weird. I've never had that happen before. I'm sort of getting to the stage where I'm getting so pale. My bronzers are looking a bit crazy on me and I'm really having to sort of work them into like my neck and the rest of my chest and stuff. Otherwise I just look crazy really. Like my face will look much more tan than the rest of me. And it's hard because obviously like this is the lightest shade, so pale problem day. I'm just gonna blend the edges again just to help blend this out because it kind of looked a bit weird and it tones it down that bit more. Okay, I'm happy with the finished product, but that was a bit of a chore to apply. I've never had that happen before. To sort of continue the Refy vibe, I'm going to take my cream blush from them in Citrine, and that's going to be on my Morphe M427. I don't have a blush colour like this. It's so like warm and orangey and it's so pretty for autumn makeup. And if you ever do anything warm toned, Didn't really have any problems with that product, but I am going to take my sponge again just to blend everything together. To set this bronzer down in place so it doesn't sort of move around, because I'm a bit worried about that, I'm going to take my Fenty Sunstalker bronzer, and this is in Shady Biz. This is a good buildable bronzer. I recently did a review of it. I'll link it here, I think. Great buildable bronzer, doesn't add too much to your skin, so it works if you're pale like me, but it will set this down. Oh yeah, and that is on a Morphe E4. It's my angled brush. Yeah, this is a matte bronzer as well, so it almost works to set down any bronzers you've got going on. Okay, I'm gonna take my Colourpop Super Shock Cheek in Flexitarian. This is so reflective, it's so nice. And I'm just gonna take a tiny bit, like swirl my brush into it. This is a Morphe M451, and I sort of buff it onto my cheek. If you sort of polish it in, it does this super nice sheen that isn't too in your face. Whereas if you kind of got your finger and pressed it on, then it would be really metallic. If that's your thing, do that, but I prefer sort of a natural sheen that looks one with my skin. Yeah, I do a very light hand. Just does the most gorgeous sheen. I'm gonna go into eyebrows. I'm using Refi products again. I'm still a bit iffy on the brow kit from Refi. Like, the pencil does a good job. It does the job of a pencil. Don't know if it's worth the price. Let me just fill my eyebrows in quickly with that. Yeah, like it's a good colour for me and it blends nicely, but I don't really think it's game changing or anything. It's just an eyebrow pencil. And a product that should be game changing is this. This is the Brow Sculpt. I've been using it because I don't really have another brow gel at the moment. I've ordered the brow glue from NYX to try. I'm getting this everywhere, see what I mean? It's just a bit of a faff. And even when I do the tiniest amount, it dries flaky in my eyebrows. Like my boyfriend, we were standing outside and he was like, what is in your eyebrows? And it was all like white flakes. Even when I brush it through, it's just not a cute look. And I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. It just isn't working as I would like it to. I'm gonna let that brow sculpt sort of dry down and then I'll add to any more sparse areas after my eyeshadow. Eyeshadow palette I'm gonna use today is obviously the best out there. It's my Natasha Denona bronze palette. She's so pretty. I'll link in the description and put a card here for the review I did of this palette. So if you wanna see a sort of an in-depth review, that'll be linked. It has swatches and everything so you can see all the shades, but it's so pretty. I think we're gonna kind of go using True Copper. We're gonna go very coppery today. Okay, so I'm gonna take my ZOEVA Luxe Crease in Beach. Just the lightest brown sort of down here. And I'm just gonna run that in my crease. These eyeshadows are amazing. They sort of blend themselves. Like any normal eyeshadow that could take me 5 minutes to blend into my crease, this takes seconds. Like if you need an eyeshadow palette that is glam but time friendly, it's this. Like great for the beginner as well because it's just fuss free. You can't actually go wrong, I don't think. Like I can't believe that's blended already. That was way too easy. I think on the same brush, I'm gonna take Suntan, which is this quite warm brown here. I'm only gonna take a little bit because I don't wanna go too over the top. I'm gonna place that in my outer V and just start bringing it into the outer crease. I'm just gonna take a clean brush in Beach just to blend the edges a bit because I don't want to blend that dark eyeshadow too high, but I want them to be seamless together. I'm now gonna take my Luxe Smoky Shader brush from ZOEVA in that True Copper shade here and just sort of carve out a shape. Wow, that colour is so potent. I have a bit of fallout, so I'm just going to take a clean brush, really fluffy brush, and just flick it away. Okay, I'm going to go back in with my crease brush and just blend the edges of that True Copper shade, just because I don't want a defined line or anything. I'm going to take that beach shade and just run it under my lower lash line, just to tie it together a bit more. Yeah, and I've just been going in with my setting brush, just with any of that powder from my face left over, blending the edges, because that just helps make everything look really seamless. I'm going to go back in with Colourpop. I'm going to go back in with Colourpop Flexitarian, just on a little pencil brush from ZOEVA, and put that in my inner corner. Wow, that is pigmented. And maybe run a bit in the inner crease. Okay, and I'm going to go in my L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara and just coat my eyelashes a lot. Mascara just makes a look. I feel like I just look silly before I put on mascara, but I think that just pulls it together and I'm not even done. Okay, so now then brows are set down, I'm gonna just go back in with that Refy brow pencil and fill in any gaps that have been exposed since I sort of brushed them up a bit more. Because of all the areas where I have any gaps, it's normally at the bottom of my brow. And I just extended the tail a tiny bit more as well. Okay, lips. I'm going to take my NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner, and this is in London, and just line my lips with it. I do love all NYX lip liners, but these suede ones are the most creamy. I pretty much just filled my whole lip in with that. And now I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. Them two together complement each other so well. I'm just going to take a bit more of my Fenty bronzer and just apply that in the perimeters of my face. And I'm taking any blush that is just left over on my blush brush as well. Okay, and just to finish off the look, I'm going to take my Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Urban Decay really need to update their mist. It puts way too much product very harshly on your face. The product's good, but gosh, look how wet my face is. They need one like the Colourpop one. It's just so soft. Just to set down any of that setting spray that's sitting on my face, I'm just going to take my sponge that I used for my foundation and just press it in to my skin. Just helps to smooth everything down and incorporate that sort of setting spray with your makeup as well. Sets down any hair on your face as well that any powder can accentuate. Okay, and this is the finished look. Very autumnal, very orange, very warm. I do really love it. I love this eyeshadow palette, and the next sort of look I'll be doing will be something a bit more Christmassy, wintry, very fun, but goodbye November, I guess. I'll have all of these products linked in the description if you want to check any of them out, and any of them videos I mentioned as well will be in the description. If you want to check me out on my Instagram at Time to Put My Face On, I just post some product reviews there and product photography. But if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to see me in the future. I'm currently posting a video or so a week, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.